Hi, I'm Mayor Mike Purzycki, and I'm your storyteller for today. Today I'm going to read with you A Girl Named Rosa by Denise Lewis Patrick. One of the most important lessons Rosa learned from her grandparents was about how to respect yourself even when others didn't. Many white people didn't want African Americans to have equal rights. In some states, there were laws to keep black people separate from whites. They didn't want African Americans to vote to change those laws. Those laws told black people where they could live, shop, or sit in the movies. There were separate hospitals for black and white people, and in some states, white nurses could not treat black patients. Black people weren't allowed to walk into places through the same entrance as white people, not even into the circus. Across the country, there are white groups who used violence to frighten and sometimes hurt black people. In Rosa's community, gangs of white men wearing robes and masks sometimes attacked black people, setting fire to their churches, schools, and homes. The violence got so bad that many people did not feel safe. When Rosa was 5 or 6 years old, her aunts and cousins stayed at her grandparents' house every night. They boarded up the windows so that no one could break in. The family kept their clothes on in case they had to escape quickly. Rosa's grandfather sat up all night to protect his family. Rosa sometimes sat with him. His bravery taught her not to be afraid of the dangers of hardships that she might face in everyday life. Rosa learned to read and count before she started school. When she was 6, she went to the black elementary school in Pine Level. There was one teacher for all of the grades. The white elementary school had a different teacher for each grade. Rosa and the other black children had to walk to school no matter how far away they lived. The white children got to ride on a school bus. Sometimes the white children threw things at Rosa and her friends from the bus windows. They had to duck and jump into the ditch to avoid getting hit. Many black children in the South only went to school for a few months out of the year because they had to work during planting and harvest time. Rosa and her cousins picked cotton along the grown-ups in their family, earning only a few cents each day. Rosa was proud of the hard work she could do, but she longed to go back to school. When Rosa was ready for junior high, there was no black junior high or high school in town. Her mother made a big decision and sent Rosa away to Montgomery Industrial School. The school was more than 25 miles away, so Rosa had to live with relatives in Montgomery. At Rosa's new school, all the girls were black. All the teachers, including Miss Alice White, who started the school, were white. Rosa had never had a white teacher before, but she didn't mind. She was excited to study math and science. Like many girls in the 1920s, no matter what race, Rosa also learned how to knit and how to take care of a home. Rosa began dreaming of her future. She started making plans to stay in Montgomery and continue her education. Everywhere Rosa looked, things were segregated or separated for black and white people. Black people had to use different bathrooms. They had to use different water fountains. Rosa wondered if the water in white fountains tasted different somehow. Even though things weren't fair, Rosa always obeyed the law and didn't start any trouble, until once when she was walking along a Montgomery street. A white boy tried to knock her down. Rosa shoved him back. He told his mother, who was standing nearby. Even after Rosa tried to explain, the mother threatened to have Rosa put in jail. Luckily, that didn't happen. As Rosa grew older, she worked hard to keep racism from making her act out in anger again. Although Rosa wanted to finish high school, she had to drop out to take care of her grandparents and her mother. In between caring for them, she worked many different jobs. When Rosa was 18, a friend introduced her to Raymond Parks. Rosa and Raymond married in 1932. He encouraged Rosa to complete high school, and she did. Raymond Parks also encouraged Rosa to get involved in the civil rights movement. He was a member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. This organization had been formed by a group of black and white people who wanted to end unfair laws. Rosa Parks became a leader of the Youth Council of the Montgomery NAACP in 1949. She wanted to give young black girls and boys what her grandfather had given her, courage and a sense of self-respect. Those qualities helped Rosa deal with the unjust laws that existed in many states. One type of unfair law that the black people in Montgomery faced every day was about public transportation. On city buses, white riders sat in the front, and a certain number of seats at the back were allowed for black riders. Black people had to pay in front, then get off and walk to the rear door of the bus to get on. Sometimes drivers let black riders pay and then pulled away before they could get to the back door. If all of the back seats were taken, black riders had to stand, even if there were empty seats in front. Anyone who broke the rules or tried to was arrested. On Thursday, December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks waited for the bus after work. She paid her fare and then went to enter the back door of the black section. She got a seat in a row with two other black people. The bus became crowded and the white section was full. The driver told the black people to get up because there was a white man standing in the aisle. The two people next to Rosa moved. She decided not to give up her seat. She wasn't simply tired from work that day. She was tired of all the time she'd been treated unfairly. She made a serious choice. The driver refused to move the bus. Rosa refused to move herself. He called the police. 42-year-old Rosa was arrested and taken to jail because she would not give up her seat on a city bus. She was released from jail later that night. No one, not even Rosa, imagined what would happen in Montgomery after that day. Word spread across the black community in Montgomery about what Rosa had done. They decided they'd had enough. They decided to protest by not riding the buses. Instead, they would boycott the buses. Many people walked wherever they had to go. Others got rides from black and white friends who drove cars. On Monday morning, December 5th, as Rosa Parks went before a judge, Montgomery city buses were empty of black passengers. They were empty the day after, too, and for weeks after. News of the boycott and pictures of Rosa Parks spread throughout the United States and the world. The boycott lasted for 13 months. In December 1956, the city of Montgomery ended bus segregation and the boycott ended. The Parks family moved to Detroit, Michigan, where they continue to be active in the civil rights movement. Rosa's firm belief in fighting nonviolently for civil rights never ended. That brave girl became a strong, courageous woman who spent the rest of her life traveling, speaking, and standing up for equality. The end.